Hello and welcome. This guide comes to you from the experts at Pro Tax Accountant, who are specialists in all things UK property and tax. Today, we're diving into something that's absolutely vital for any property owner in the UK, Form AP1. This is your key to officially changing the property register.
So, let me ask you, have you just bought a new home, maybe inherited a property, or are you going through a big life change like getting married? If you're nodding along, then you really need to pay close attention. Because in every single one of those cases, there's one crucial piece of paper that protects what is probably your most valuable asset. And listen, getting it wrong, well, the consequences can be, let's just say, really serious.
Okay, so here's what we're going to cover. We'll break down what this form actually is. We'll take a quick tour of the key parts. I'll give you a super handy document checklist. We'll look at the big mistakes you have to avoid, and then we'll talk about getting some expert help. Ready? Let's go.
Right, let's kick things off with the big question. What is Form AP1? Think of it as the official gateway to the land register.
So, in simple terms, Form AP1 is the official application you send to HM Land Registry whenever you need to change the property register in England and Wales. This isn't just paperwork. It's the key to making any update legally binding. It's what makes it official.
And you'd be surprised how often this form pops up. Let's say you're a freelancer in London and you've just bought your first flat with your partner. Boom. You'll need an AP1 for that transfer. Finally paid off your mortgage? Great. But you'll need an AP1 to discharge the charge. That's just the fancy legal term for getting the bank off your title. Changing your name after marriage, adding someone to the deeds, even just updating your contact address. Yep, all of these things need this form. Okay, I know what you're thinking. The form itself can look a bit scary. But honestly, it's just a series of questions. Let's break it down together with a quick tour of the most important parts.
First up, we've got the basics, kind of like the who, what, and where of your application. Panels 1 through 3 are just for pinpointing the property. You know, local authority, title number, that sort of thing. Then, panel 4 is where you spell out exactly what you're asking for. Are you transferring ownership, removing a mortgage? You list it here, and, this is important, you have to list them in the right order.
Now let's talk money, fees. You see this number £135? That's a real-world example for the 2025/26 tax year. It's what you might pay for an online transfer of a property worth, say, £450,000. But, and this is a big but, the fee changes all the time, based on value and what you're doing. So, pro tip, never guess. Always use the official fee calculator on the gov.uk website to get the right number. All right, next up, the people and the proof. Panels 6 and 7 are simple. Who's the new owner and who's sending in the form? Panel 9 is your address, which is super important for getting official mail. Now, stay with me, because this next part is where a lot of applications get stuck. We're talking panels 12 to 14. This is all about proving your identity, and it's a massive step in preventing property fraud.
And hey, don't just take my word for it. The government itself puts it pretty bluntly on gov.uk. They say, and I quote, "Land registration is complex. There can be significant consequences for any error." Basically, it's their way of saying, you can try this at home, but you might want to call a professional.
Okay, so we've walked through the form. Now, what about all the other paperwork you need to send with it? Let's build your essential document checklist right now.
So, what you need really depends on why you're filling out the form. Transferring ownership, you'll need a Form TR1. Doing it yourself without a conveyancer, you'll need a Form ID1 to prove who you are. If it's part of an inheritance, you'll need the grant of probate. And for things like a name change, you'll need documents like a marriage certificate or a court order. Simple as that.
Okay, here is a massive pro tip that could save you a world of pain. Listen up. The Land Registry will scan your documents, and then they will destroy them. I'm not kidding. So, what's the takeaway? Never, ever send your precious original documents. Always send certified copies.
So, we've covered what to do. Now let's flip it around and talk about what not to do. And that's not all. Here's where most people go wrong, and trust me, the cost of these mistakes can be huge.
This is a perfect little cheat sheet of what to do versus what not to do. Don't guess the fee. Use the calculator. Don't forget to list your applications in priority order. It really matters legally. As we just said, send certified copies, not originals. And this last one gets so many people. Check that every single name matches perfectly across all your documents. I'm talking even a missing middle initial. It seems small, but it can get your whole application thrown out.
So what actually happens if you just don't do it? Or if you submit the form, but it's full of mistakes? What's the big deal?
Well, the big deal is it's a very big deal. First off, you're not technically the legal owner, which can open a whole can of worms with legal disputes. Trying to sell or remortgage? Good luck. You'll hit massive delays. Need a loan? Lenders might just say no. You could even get hit with penalties from HMRC for late stamp duty. And for families, it can create a nightmare for executors trying to sort out an inheritance.
Okay, so by now you can probably see this isn't something you want to mess up. And that brings us perfectly to our final point, getting some expert help to navigate all this complexity. Look, if you're feeling a bit unsure about all this, you are definitely not alone. A property transaction is so much more than just filling out a form. There are major tax implications hiding in the background. Yep, we're talking about things like capital gains tax on any profit you make, inheritance tax if the property is part of an estate, and of course, stamp duty. This is exactly where a firm like ProTax Accountant becomes absolutely essential. They don't just fill out forms, they understand the full financial picture. They can spot your liabilities and find potential savings, like private residence relief, that could literally save you thousands of pounds.
So, whether you need help with tax planning for a property transfer, calculating exactly what you owe in capital gains or stamp duty, or just want the peace of mind that you're totally compliant with HMRC, getting expert advice is for sure the smartest move. If you'd like to chat about your situation, you can reach out to the team at ProTax Accountant for a consultation. Just use WhatsApp or call them on 07995 689912, or you can drop them an email at info@protaxaccountant.co.uk. So I'll leave you with one final question to think about. Are you 100% confident that you understand all the financial risks and all the opportunities that are tied to your property change? For more helpful guides just like this one, make sure you hit that subscribe button for the ProTax Accountant YouTube channel. Thanks so much for joining me.